Thank you so much for everyone being here. Dr. Van Leer, were you going to say something? No. Okay, great. So I'm going to share our presentation for today. Everyone can see that? Great. Okay, so getting started, thank you so much for everyone joining us. I see we have quite a few parents outside of the executive committee joining, so thank you so much. We're really grateful to have you here. So just kicking us off, the agenda for today, we're going to be welcoming new parents. We're going to introduce our executive leadership and our volunteer roles for those folks who haven't already met our leaders for this year. We're going to get an update from Dr. Van Leer. We're also going to get an update on the new website and branding for Arlington Tech. Kim will give us a fundraising update, which is awesome. We'll get an update from Josh, treasurer update. We'll talk through some upcoming volunteer opportunities, our meeting schedule for the year. I believe Elizabeth is on the line and she'll give us an update on Spirit Wear. We have more people joining. This is so fun. And we'll talk through some potential guest speakers for this year and share a little bit what we're thinking in terms of clubs and activity funding. So just want to start with welcoming our new ninth grade parents and any new volunteers and returning families. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. We were having a meeting the other day and we paused to do introductions, and I found it so helpful. So I want to just pause and go through introductions. I know it might take a little bit, but we just share our name, the name of our kiddo, and their grade, and we can kind of go speed that through. That would be great. I'll start. Stephanie, I'm chair of ATAC, and my daughter's Marlene, and she's a 12th grader. I'll pass it over to Kim because I see Kim's face.
Hi, I'm Kim. And my son is Kyler. He's in 10th grade. And Jody, can I pass it to you, Elsang?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jody Alsai. My son Noah is a 10th grader, and I am the secretary for ATAC. I'll pass it to Sherry.
Hi, everyone. I have Jackson in 10th grade and Darren in 9th grade. Let's see, Josh, you're next.
Everybody, I'm Josh Parker. I'm the treasurer of ATAC, and my daughter is Samantha, who is a 12th grader. Elizabeth, you can go and share in that joy.
And I am Josh's wife and also Samantha Parker's mom, and she's a 12th grader, like Josh says, and I do spirit wear with Jody, and I'll pass it to Dr. Van Leer.
Sorry, I'm Michelle Van Leer. Hi, everybody. I'm the program coordinator for Arlington Tech, and I'm going to pass it to Alita.
Hey, hi everyone. I don't know if I'm on the camera right now or not. Um, I have a 10th grader, Robin, and a 9th grader, Kaden, and I'll be helping with calendar once I orient to the new site. My internet's not been working well on my laptop at home, so I haven't really been able to go through it much, but I will soon.
Thank you, Alita. I'm just going to run through the list of anyone I know who's not already on the executive. So Allison, do you want to jump? Allison Stewart?
Sorry, I was trying to find my button. I'm sorry, we're just doing introductions?
Yeah, so your name, your kiddo's name, and their grade.
Yep. Allison Stewart, I have a new 9th grader, and her name is Lexi.
Thank you, Allison. I want to call on folks, but I know finding mute can be hard. Anisha, do you want to share?
Sure. Hi, my name is Anisha. Oh, can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't see myself. And I have a 9th grader, and his name is Kai. And yeah, new parent.
Welcome. So I see someone else want to jump in?
I will. I'm Daria, and Russell is in the other room, but I have a ninth grader named Nicholas, and he's been out sick all week, so he's really behind. But anyway,
I hope he feels better soon. Kara?
Hi, Kara Marshall. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm driving, and my son Ashton, who's a ninth grader, is operating the electronics for me. Hello.
Hi. Do we have Beth? So we also have Christina. Anyone else who wants to just jump in? If not, I'll jump into the agenda if anyone doesn't want to just introduce themselves.
Oh, I will. I'm Yumi and teacher appreciation volunteer. My daughter is Anna Litwiller, 12th grade.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miranda Brannon. My son Josh is in 10th grade.
Hi, I'm Dima Hakura, and my daughter Yara is in ninth grade, and I'm Ubering my kids around, so I'm in a noisy place right now. Sorry.
Thank you for joining.
I'm Christina. Hi, I have a son, Derek, who's in 10th grade.
I'm Jen. I have my daughter Charlotte is in ninth grade.
Hi, Jen. Anyone else? Okay, I'm gonna get us started. I really appreciate it. I know that took a few minutes, but it's so fun to know all the different grades, especially our ninth grade parents. So welcome, and our 12th grade parents who are finishing out our last year, which is bittersweet. So we had an executive team strategy meeting this past weekend, and we also had a budget and fundraising meeting that was open to everyone. Some of you may have joined a few weeks ago. We have those notes from those meetings, and we'll make them available to everyone. So just sharing that we have those, and we will definitely make them available. We did great introductions, so I feel like everyone knows who everyone is. This information can also be found on the website if there's anyone you want to follow up with after our meeting today. And we have all of our volunteers as well, which can also be found on the website. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Van Leer to give us an update.
Hi, so I have a couple of things on here that I just decided to highlight, but I can also answer questions at the end of the meeting. These were some pictures that I took today, just wandering around the building of things that were happening. The clubs are running. It's important to remember that clubs are student run. So have patience with communication and with consistency and so on and so forth. We really urge the leaders to really take on that leadership. Yumi is on here. She can speak to Anna's experience in robotics. She's doing an outstanding job leading at robotics. And so it's exciting. Tomorrow is the activities fair, all 3 lunch periods. So encourage students to go to that. I know Ashton is on here and is already leading Model UN and jumping into things with lots of leadership energy. So we love that. And hopefully people can take advantage of the lunches on the activities fair tomorrow during lunches and find out more. NHS candidates. So these are my primarily 11th graders. They were notified last week. NHS stands for National Honor Society. Any student who had a 3.5 GPA or higher was invited to join a Canvas site. We had a meeting last week to make sure everybody knew what it was. And then it's students' choice if they want to apply for NHS or not. And those applications are due on October 11th. And so any 11th grade or maybe 12th graders who are interested in applying and were at that meeting, October 11th is the deadline. Thank you so much to people who came out to back to school night. I saw a lot of people here on the meeting there last on Tuesday night. We had a really, really positive night. Everybody felt really good about it and loved meeting the families and had a lot of good conversations. So thank you so much for that. We're really excited about this science fair symposium that's coming on October 4th in the morning at 9:30. I think it's going to be from 9:30 to 10:45. Students, particularly ninth and 10th graders. So the students who are in biology intensified and students that are in chemistry intensified are getting passes to be able to meet with scientists. We're going to have a whole commons full of scientists that are going to meet with students to talk to them about science fair ideas and give them some mentorship on science fair ideas. So that's going to be on October 4th. If you have any questions about it, reach out to your science teacher, either Miss Reese or Miss Knight or Mr. Gray or Miss Brosfield to find out more about that. And what do I have on the very bottom there? I can't see. Can you see, Steph?
Film crew.
Film crew. Okay, so I sent an email on Friday about a documentary crew that was coming on Monday. They came on Monday and did a tour, so your students might have seen a film crew going around and interviewed some people. I wanted them to interview more people, but they ran out of time. But it was very fun. This is a documentary that's going to be with the program called What Schools Could Be. And they found out about our program from a parent who had a student graduate last year and has a 10th grader this year. And they came over to find out more about it. And it was fun to be interviewed and they were super impressed with the program. And so I look forward to giving you more information on where we show up on that. And if it's okay, do you want me to say a few words about, I know that there was a hold in school today. And so if you want me to say any more about that, let me.
That would be great, Dr. Miller.
So it probably will be frustrating because the very reason that we have the holds is why also we don't give very much information about the holds. The holds are all about student confidentiality. It's because someone's having a medical incident or today there was an altercation between two students and we need to make sure that students are able to get out to emergency vehicles or escorted from the building if they need to be. And we want to try to create privacy for that. There was an incident last year where students filmed a student in a medical incident. And since then, the schools and the district has tried to increase the confidentiality around any incidents that are happening. So everybody in the building is absolutely safe. Everybody is, it's not something that affects any more than one area, but because oftentimes this is happening in the commons or we're taking somebody out of the commons and it's so open, we're just asking people to stay put where they are until the situation is taken care of so that we can kind of help with student confidentiality as best as we can. I think that the administration feels that perhaps they called a hold a little bit too quickly in some prior medical incidents. So I think that they're still trying to get the balance right in terms of whether everything really needs to hold for a second to make sure that everything's okay, or if we can take care if they, I'm not administration, if they can take care of the situation without calling the hold. So that balance hopefully will still be okay. But they do get on the speaker and say, this is a hold, everybody stay place, that this just means that we are asking you to stay in your classes and it's not a lockdown. And so they try very hard to distinguish between what a lockdown is and what a hold is. So that's kind of the definition of it at this point. Allison, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wonder, I know you just kind of give an idea of what they say. Do they indicate that, this does not present any type of a danger to you right now? We're just dealing with the situation because especially for the ninth grader, my daughter wasn't sure if she was going to be left, have to leave early, if there was something going on. And luckily it didn't spike her anxiety too much, but with a lot of her neurodiverse, there's a lot of anxiety that occurs. And I just didn't know, I know you can't say anything about what's going on, but at least kind of, I don't know if you guys share that, hey, the situation is such that there is no danger to you. We just need you to stay in place right now, blah, blah, blah. How much information do you provide?
Yeah, Mr. Boehner is the one that gets on the announcements, and he says that. He says this is not a lockdown. This is a hold, and that is everybody's safe in the building. We're asking everyone to stay in their classrooms for the time being, and then he'll get on periodically if the hold continues and say, I'm just reminding everybody this is a hold. Everything is safe in the building. We just are going to ask you to stay in your places. And so he kind of keeps it to that simple message. I think that if you feel like your student is getting any announcement or any information that is causing anxiety for your student, if don't hesitate to reach out, because I think they're still shaping the messaging to make sure that it's like everybody is okay and we're trying to take care of this at the same time.
I think it's really more, as in everything, it's more the lack of information. But just since you guys are still shaping it, since you guys do have lockdowns, I don't know, and I will say this knowing that most kids aren't going to listen anyway, but if at the beginning of each year you kind of explain what the different types of categories mean and what they kind of an example of situations that might trigger them, because if they hear hold, they have no clue what that means if they're brand new. So just
I think you're right on that. Thank you. Okay, that is my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Van Leer. We actually have a question in the chat about Advanced Academics Info Night at ACC, and you can share a little bit about what that is and who should attend.
Advanced Academics is the new iteration of what was once gifted and talented programs. Advanced Academics now is wider than just students who have been formally identified as gifted in any specific area. And it is about those opportunities that allow students to extend their learning in some way and enrichment in their learning. Our advanced academics coordinator is Kristen Johns. She is enthusiastic and full of information. So I think that if you're looking for any information about what opportunities there are for students to extend their learning, if they're really interested in specific topics, like I'm thinking about governor's school applications for summer programs or specific projects that students might be interested in, that I think that you should attend. It's good. She'll just give information about what's available in the district, as well as what her role is and how parents and students can use her role.
Thank you, Dr. Van Leer.
And
Question.
Meredith, I see your comment in that's a good idea. Thank you.
Amazing. So Dr. Van Leer, I'm going to move us along. We can come back to more questions for Dr. Van Leer if we have some at the end. Taking us over to the new website and branding. I know former ATAC team, one of their goals last year was advocating for Arlington Tech program to have its own website. So Dr. Van Leer, if you want to just share maybe a little background on what that is, what it means for us to have it and where you are in that process.
So prior, our Arlington Tech was a page that was on the Arlington Career Center website. Obviously, that is good for efficiency because we are in the Arlington Career Center, so much information and so much of the resources are shared amongst many programs in the Arlington Career Center. But now, as we grow, and it's true in the past as well, there's so much information to share about Arlington Tech, and the public needs to have that information in making decisions about the program. So they said, yes, Arlington Tech should have their own website. And so we have designed a website that we think is good for multiple stakeholders, including the public reaching out. We're working on the partner side of it to make sure that it's a good website for partners to go to if they want to partner with us, for students to go to for information. So we built this with a lot of support from Steph and from Steph's company as well. And built what we hope is a very informational website. This is the first iteration right now, and then we'll be adding to it as we build more information. So I hope people get the chance to go to it and discover what's on there. There is quite a bit of, like I said, crossover with Arlington Career Center. So many of the pages lead you back to the Arlington Career Center for pages like on counseling and so on and so forth, because they're shared between Arlington Tech and Arlington Career Center, and we don't want them to have to maintain two websites.
Thank you, Dr. Van Leer, and thank you for all your leadership on this. I know this was a summer to fall project, and I can't remember when you started. Was it like beginning of August? Has it been
Yeah, I would say
2
end of
months?
July. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, and congratulations. Okay, so bringing us along, we have an update from Kim. Kim, do you want to give us an update?
Yes, thank you. Oh, this is great. Yes, well, so first, just thank you so much to the many people who have donated. And as this says, thanks to Josh's update, we've raised almost $9,500 towards our $10,000 goal. So we are almost there. And we and this will provide real, as I think Josh was going to go over this maybe, but it will provide a major portion of the funding for the budgeted activities this year. So this is a really great success, and it just is really, it's really wonderful how supportive all the families are. So anyway, and I want to just have a quick special shout out to Alita and her son and Heidi for helping with the fundraising table at the Fall Social. Thank you all so much. And we have some other ideas because they're, later in the year, there are some things that we typically do a few fundraisers for. So we may do, some folks have some really fun ideas through the year, so stay tuned. But I'm feeling pretty confident that in this last, this week and next week, we'll hit our goal and be where we need to be. So anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody. Yes, and the link, actually, I'm not quite sure where everything landed with the new website, and
It got
all
brought
that.
over. It's
Yeah,
all on the new site.
great. I the links that I had on the flyers were not are the old links, so I'm gonna update those, but that's great. Yeah, so the website has these and the links that you can click on also. You don't just have to scan it.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes.
I'll turn it over to Josh for a treasurer's update.
Hi, everybody. I'm not going to go over this in too much detail. I'll touch on some things. So if anybody has any questions, you can always come to me and I'll go into any detail you want. As Kim mentioned, we're almost at our fundraising goal, which funds everything for the year. Actually, there may be more fundraising later for additional items. But our budget is primarily the activities budget, which is $8,000 of the 10,000 that's raised. We also carried over a lot of money from last year, which we don't intend to do next year. So that's the funds rolled over at the very bottom, second to last, third to last line, whatever it is. So we're going to spend some of that money as well. A couple of lines in there are italicized because those are offsets from revenues, like the spiritware just evens itself out. People pay for what they buy. We don't fundraise outside of that. We don't raise money from it. And the teacher appreciation gift cards are a separate fundraiser when teacher appreciation comes around. So far we haven't had many expenses. And those will keep hopefully rolling in as the year goes.
Thank you, Josh. Allison?
I love to have questions. I apologize for that. But hey, Josh, I agree in that you guys are planning to spend some of the rollover money, but looking at the budget, I'm not seeing where we would spend that, since it looks like we're not spending even as much as we're planning to bring in. Do you have any information on, if there's additional things that you're planning to add to spend more of it?
Yeah, the approved budget, you can see the expense total of 23,750, whereas we're only bringing in 16,500. across things. So that's where that
Oh, I see. The
using free cash from
11,000 is
last
part
year.
of it. Okay. Okay. Got it.
But Allison, I can answer that question because everyone may not have been able to join the impromptu budget call. Most of those extra resources went towards activities. So we increased activities budget, especially for seniors. So we used some of the projections from last year where we ended up having to vote mid-year and spend more. And then we also increased allocation for grade-specific activity celebrations that are managed by our parent liaisons. So trying to get as much resources as possible into the hands of the students.
Do we have a target rollover amount that we want to maintain?
Yeah, our bylaws actually say 500, but our target is, I try to put our target at about 4,000 so we can cover everything at the beginning of the year in case there's stuff that happens early and our fundraising doesn't happen.
Yeah, 500 seems really low. Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for Josh? Okay, great. So just going over some of the upcoming events and volunteer opportunities. I know there is a sign-up form that has gone around encouraging folks to help sign up for volunteer activities. So we've received those. I think we've only received 6 signups. So if you want to volunteer and you just haven't signed up yet, please visit the website and you can find the form. Some of the things that we have coming up, there are future community socials that are led by Sherry, and I'm sure we'll need some parent support to help execute those. We have a Frisbee homecoming game that is in October or November. I don't think it's scheduled yet, and parents might be needed to help volunteer. Fall dance is one of the events for our 9th grade parents that are new. It's a pretty significant event, our fall and spring dance, especially since our students can't go to all of the big homecoming activities only at their home school. Try to make the fall dance as special as possible. So we have a parent who currently leads that in terms of design, but she can always use extra support and we'll need some materials and folks on the day of. So you'll get more information about that as we get closer. For 8th grade family night is a virtual call, and Dr. Van Leer may ask current parents and students to join. So for our prospective families, cultural night is an event that's happened the past 2 years, the first year at ACC, and then last year we helped to co-host at Wakefield. I think we had like 400, 500 people last year, Dr. Van Leer, which is incredible. So we hosted it opened it to the county-wide. The students there could really use some support in coordinating for the potluck and decorations. So we're going to be looking for volunteers there. January to March, we're going to start earlier. We're going to start some executive board recruitment. So really, as you all are on this call, thinking about ways that you may want to step into some of these roles. You heard quite a few of us are 12th grade parents. So definitely going to be looking for folks who are interested. If you already know that you're interested, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to start chatting sooner. And then again, we'll have our spring dance in September. I know Teacher Appreciation Week is all hands on deck, and then definitely a time when a lot of support is needed. We have senior activities in May that we support, especially 11th grade parents, as a lot of senior parents are kind of in the middle of a lot of the planning for senior events. I know senior lawn signs was something in terms of helping to place those and distribute them that we helped with last year. Prom, ATAC helps with the decorations and materials, especially 11th, 10th grade, 11th parents. And then there'll be end of year events. I believe there's one being planned for 9th to 11th grade for a theme park and potentially field day. So those will definitely, we'll need some parent volunteers for those. Any questions, we'll definitely send information with calls out as these are happening. But if you heard one of these and you have an area of expertise or you think it would be really fun, if you could just send me an email or fill out the form on the website, we'd love to get you plugged in so we can start planning earlier. Any questions there? Okay, email me. Our meeting schedule is on our website as well. These are the dates. They're Thursdays, 8 p.m. on Zoom. Thank you, Allison gave me a great recommendation for making the Zoom URL really easy and being able to share it in advance. So I'm going to be doing that and adding all of the URLs to the website. So stand by for that. We'll send an update once that's done. But thank you so much for everyone who's here. We definitely appreciate you all being here. And this year, we're going to start recording all of our calls and posting them on our website so that they can be accessible to parents who might not be able to make it. So if you aren't able to make it, please look for the recording on our website, and we'll also send it out in our updates. I'll turn it over, Elizabeth, to our Arlington Tech Spiritware update.
Thank you. Yes, the fall Arlington Tech Spiritware sale is wrapping up on Monday. We're going to take orders through the end of the day on Monday. Then Jody and I will get together next week and compile our order to send to Underground Printing. Right now, we've had 23 orders with 46 items purchased. So if you know of anyone that would like to buy something, PJ pants, long sleeve tees, any of these lovely items you see on the screen right there, plus more, go to the website that Dr. Van Laer has been so kind to include in the weekly emails so that you can order your spiritware.
Dr. Van Laer, we had talked about kind of this idea that I saw Yorktown has done where the school social worker asks if any parents are willing to help cover the cost of spiritware, want to donate for any students who might not be able to afford it. Are there any parents that might be interested or think that might be a good idea? I know we don't have money right now allocated in our approved budget to cover it. It's definitely something to think about for the future.
I was about to my thumbs up because I think that'd be a great idea. I know I would contribute for getting to the students who can't get it otherwise.
This is Alita. We had something similar when my kids were at Barrett Elementary and Kenmore Middle School, when there were like t-shirt orders or things like that for different events or just for school shirt, where parents had that option, which I thought was always a nice thing to do.
Great. So we'll figure out a way to get that information out so that we can collect those resources specifically around spiritware covering the cost. And then Elizabeth, we can coordinate, and Dr. Van Laer so we can see how we can help distribute.
Yeah, that sounds great. Just keep me posted and we can make that happen for sure. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So an idea that has been done at ATAC meetings in the past, I don't think we did it last year, but we're looking to bring it back, is inviting some guest speakers to join us, help make these meetings as productive and useful to everyone as possible. I spelled Mrs. Magro wrong because I remember she was a Mrs. at the last minute, and I was trying to be inclusive. But Mrs. Magro, who leads our DE work with Nova. So just running through a couple of these, my goal with sharing them is, finding out if there's interest and if there's anyone who's not here that you may have met on one of the tours or you were really interested or you do work outside of Arlington Tech that you've met that you think would be really helpful. So Mr. Doraco, to talk through college prep, especially when my daughter was in 9th grade, he talked about things to think about and prepare in advance of your kid being an 11th and 12th grader. And I found that really helpful early. Mrs. Magro is clearly on the DE Nova. I think she does a formal presentation later in the year, but could be cool for her to come do a short talk with us. I know we have an Arlington Tech SEPTA PTA liaison, so giving her an opportunity to share. I think we've had our school board liaison join in the past. Some folks have asked about new building construction, making sure we're kept up to date. Love to have ACC administration come in and talk to us about the different programs and how we work together. Ms. Brewster, especially around course selection and student support services. I know that happens late in February, but could always be helpful to have an update and understanding. Nicole Duraco, who helps to lead our partnerships coordination, especially for capstones. Thinking about, I know she's always looking for new potential partners and capstone opportunities. So would love to hear from her around ways that ATAC and us as parents and families can support her. We talked about having some of the engineering teachers come in and talk to us about the engineering pathways, which are always fascinating and they enjoy talking about. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinator at Arlington Tech has asked to be able to present as well. So we'd love to hear from her some of the exciting things that the students are doing. Normally in the past, we've also had student clubs and activities sometimes present to us in advance of receiving funding. We're going to shift that process a bit so that we can lower the barrier to getting resources out as soon as possible so the students don't have to wait a month to apply and find out. So we're thinking once programs are funded, we may invite a few of them to come and present to us during our meetings. So that's everything from our brainstorm. I'd love to hear from you all. Is there someone else you'd like to invite? And then once I have this list, I'll go out to folks and start scheduling and inviting them to our meetings for the year. So in the comments, I see Allison added training and awareness around Canvas to support your student. I have a senior, I still don't know how to do it. So I think I would appreciate it. Anything anyone else would love to hear from or someone? And if you have any ideas that you want to email later, please feel free. This is a lot and there's only like 8 meetings. So these might work. But if there's anything and anyone who's watching this recording that wants to reach out, please feel free to do so. There's another comment. Thank you, Kim.
Hey, Stephanie, do we have, because we're not a standard PTA, but do we have a school board assigned, somebody on school board is assigned to us?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that? You know? Okay.
It's
no,
Bethany.
her name's escaping me. Go ahead, Dr.
Is it Bethany Sutton this year?
I don't know if it changed this year. Did it change?
I don't know. I will find out. I should know. That's a good question. I should know. I'll find out and get back to you.
We do have one though. That's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, we definitely do. And my daughter was best friends with the son of the last one, so I should know her name. And so this is very bad. But we will definitely look into that and let everybody know. Okay. So our last update is on clubs and activities funding. As I shared, we're going to shift this and formalize it a little bit. In the past, it was sort of some folks heard that ATAC had funding for activities, and then they came and either sent an email to the chair or got recommended to come and do a presentation. So part of what we'd like to do this year is actually introduce ourselves a bit more to the students who don't all know what ATAC is and what we do. So part of that, we are actually going to have a table at the activities fair tomorrow, which is very exciting. Dr. Van Leer has not told me if I can bring a trifold, but I might make one tonight just because I think that's kind of fun. So we are going to be helping the students understand who we are and doing a better job of sharing with the students that we are here to help support their club's activities with the announcement of our grants and sponsorship. The number and amount of money that we've given has also been a bit inconsistent depending on how much the students have asked for. So we're going to formalize that a little bit. So we're going to do grants in the amounts of 75, 150, and 250. I think we used to go up to about 500 in the past or more, but in order to, I think there's about 30 clubs. So in order to support more clubs, we're going to tighten that up a bit with our current budget. And then just some parameters around clubs. Our clubs are open. Dr. Van Leer, you can speak more to this. I believe they're clubs that are open to students from all the programs, ACC clubs.
Yes.
And then Arlington Tech students participate in those clubs and lead some of them, right?
Correct.
Okay, so our criteria is that for this ATAC, it's always been very important that our efforts really support Arlington Tech students. That's part of why this body came together. So one of our criteria is that at least one student that's a part of the club or the activity needs to be from Arlington Tech. And the person who applies, the student that applies, needs to be an Arlington Tech student. That's the criteria that we're setting. This funding is also available to students who might want to start a club for a club that doesn't exist, but they'll need to come with a teacher or staff sponsor as well. So we're excited about this. We're hoping to run out of resources as quickly as possible. We are asking the clubs to plan ahead for the year, which I know a lot of clubs are, and thinking about what their fundraising goals are. They'll only be able to apply once, and they'll only receive funding up until the actual receipts that they submit for reimbursement. Any other, and this will be rolling. Miranda Turner is the liaison for all of ACC programs this year. Perfect. So definitely probably want a call with her because I don't think she's been our liaison in the past. So we'll definitely reach out. Any questions on clubs and activities funding, any suggestions? We're open. This is a new process for this year and we're kicking it off tomorrow. Dr. Van Leer just informed me that I can bring a trifold, so I might be running to Walgreens. So for everyone who's on the call who has a kiddo who either is part of an existing club or an activity, please flag for them that these resources are available because we definitely want more students to know. For our ninth graders that are going to new clubs and are going to be a part of the activities fair tomorrow, if we can share this message with them because they might know and current students in these clubs might not know. So the goal is to get this information to as many students as possible. And Dr. Van Leer is going to share it on Canvas and share it with the teacher, staff, sponsors of the clubs as well. And this is in addition to the teacher wish list. So those resources are different and those will be rolling out soon as well. Any questions, thoughts, feedback? So I'm just going to assume everyone loves the ideas and we're going to move on. So that is it that we have for our meeting today. I will just open it up to anyone who had any questions for Dr. Van Leer. I know we went through that quickly or anything else that was shared. Any questions outside of our agenda that anyone wants to share?
Hi, I have a question. This is Anisha. I wanted to know, like, if you put your name down on the volunteer list, how would you be contacted? Like through email, or how will you be contacted regarding volunteering?
That's a great question, Anisha. We are talking that through internally. We actually didn't have a role for a volunteer coordinator this year. In the past, we've collected volunteer information and then haven't really heard back from folks throughout the school year. So Anisha, we're going to get back to you where we are planning to reach out and send an email at least to start. But we're going to think through how to be more thoughtful about how we engage and our volunteers more actively and just stay in communication. Thank you for the question, Anisha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allison?
Well, I gotta say, I'd probably say have something else to say. Okay, they're gonna learn that about me. First of all, I just want to say before I have my question for Dr. Van Leer is that this type of information and the amount of information and how you presented it was amazing. So thank you so much. It really, really was targeted and very good. So as we mentioned regarding I think Stephanie then capitalized on her senior regarding Canvas. Struggled with this all throughout middle school. And so this is information that I'm hoping you could pass back to the administration. So this back to school night, every single class, I looked like I was a horrible student who was just sitting there on my phone the entire time the teacher was talking, because I was trying to analyze their Canvas so I could ask them questions. And sure enough, every single Canvas was completely different, used completely 100% differently. And one teacher said, I don't even know how to use it yet. And of course, that's a concern. And it was a very much of a concern for me with the neurodiverse child who's, who is very, very easily overwhelmed. And she's had no idea what to do throughout even the first couple of weeks, and she's been freaked out. So I don't know if there's some training, some lessons learned, some best practices, I guess you could say as well. Because I'll tell you, her IED teacher has like by far the best Canvas page I've ever seen yet. So, I don't know if there's anything you can do to pass on about the need to possibly standardize in some areas, not all, because I know some teachers need some different things, but also just having each other help each other, the teachers help each other on this.
Thanks. I'll pass that along. Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation for sure. So I will add that to the, yes, thank you.
Thanks.
And I think that makes for a great speaker recommendation for us to add to the list. Yeah, I as a daughter who has a daughter with anxiety as well, the quality of a Canvas really dictates how well my daughter is able to follow along and feel engaged. And I'm sure that's for all students. But a Canvas that's not super well organized definitely heightens anxiety in our home. Thank you so much. If anyone has any final questions, please feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I shall give you all back 11 minutes. Thank you for joining us. See you in October. In the meantime, please feel free to reach out with any questions. Again, chair@arlingtontech.org. Everyone who's on this call and the executive team and volunteer leads, email addresses are on the website too. And you can look out for updates from ATAC through Dr. Van Leer's Parent Square. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.